You are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community and Podbean now. And I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Leek.
And together we are
Road
Break Family. It's time to talk about WWE Backlash 2020. 20 minutes after the show was off the air, Jean-Paul and I are like, WWE probably one of the few times that they actually went through with like the idea that they gave us of a match, because the greatest match ever. It felt like it was a pretty damn good match, Mr. Leek.
This was definitely one of Edge. You could argue that this is one of Edge's greatest matches, if not his greatest. His classics with The Undertaker. I'm not going to count any of the tag team matches or anything, but just straight up singles matches. I mean, this was great. They delivered. Was it the greatest wrestling match ever? I probably wouldn't put it as my favorite, but favorite versus greatest is always two different debates. But this was good. And then you want to look at the rest of the show, and then it's like, there's some good, but then there's some pretty big stinkers in here. So.
Appetizers, everything, until like the main dish, it was like pretty much a little stinky, a little not too great. Thank you so very much to every single one of you for watching every single one of our videos, every single one of the content. Like Jean-Paul and I just mentioned a few minutes ago, we are on Podbean. So for the ones that don't want to see our beautiful faces, shame on you guys. Unlike they want to listen to our beautiful voices, there you go. Just listen to the audio versions right there, right, Jean-Paul? They can check us on the original rubric on Podbean. So we're going to start like uploading all of our content over there. So Jean-Paul, let's start with like the pre-show that, according to Jean-Paul, was supposed to be main show, but we know that Vince McMahon is now in charge of Raw and SmackDown, but like Bruce Pritchard is kind of overseeing the operation.
Bruce Pritchard is involved, but he's just the soulless, mindless yes man puppet to Vince McMahon.
Yes.
So
he's the assistant manager, and Vince is like the GM. So of course he says like he does everything that like whatever he says is whatever happens on TV. A lot of chaos, a lot of confusion, a lot of things that are happening because the whole structure of the WWE and the shows and everything is happening so fast. And like
because some of us, we might not have liked Monday Night Raw, but at least Paul Heyman was pushing certain guys, like the guys we've seen here in the pre-show, Andrade and Apollo Cruz, and he would actually fight Vince McMahon on some stuff. But now he's taken out of that role, and like we said, it's all just going to, the creative team will try to come up with stuff, but Vince says no. He says this is what he wants, and then that's what we get. And
that's pretty much what happened. So, Mr. Leek, United States Championship match, that was open the pre-show, and that's Apollo Cruz defending against Andrade Cien Almas.
Yep, and you and I both. Hot. Yeah, I was going to say, she looked good. That was an added bonus to the match. This was a good match. This definitely should have been on the main card. There was a couple matches on the main card that I would have put here on the pre-show instead. Yes. You had Kevin Owens come out too. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna." Be a backup to Apollo Cruz because, of course, Angel Garza has to come out. But you're like, is this really his intentions? No, he just wants Apollo Cruz's United States Championship.
Yes.
You weren't going to see anything because that's obviously you save that for the next pay-per-view or leading into it. But the match itself, I thought was good. It's just a shame that these guys get put on the pre-show and, nobody really cares.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely the truth. Like you said, also Kevin Owens came out to kind of like even the odds with Angel Garza. They put on a great match. Why? Because Apollo Cruz and Almas, they're both great wrestlers. I really enjoyed that. But in the end, of course, there was like Kevin Owens had an interaction. He went with like Angel Garza, and that kind of caused distraction. Like I said, Selena Vega like looking smoking hot. That was, like you said, like the highlight of the match for me. And of course, then Apollo Cruz delivered the powerbomb on Andrade Cien Almas, and then he retains. Do I think that like that was the right decision? Probably not. Just because I think that like the title being on Almas, like you said, like we won the feud with Garza. Garza becoming a babyface, going against an Andrade heel. But WWE, at least they're keeping the title on Apollo, so Vince doesn't hate Apollo yet.
Yeah, and I'm actually fine with this. You and I both predicted Andrade. They stuck with Apollo. And that kind of when we saw Kevin Owens and a little bit what he was saying on commentary, maybe I'm reading into it, but I'm like, I always think Kevin Owens is more legit as a heel. He had a babyface run for a while, even back when he was on SmackDown, how many months ago. He's been a babyface since then. He hasn't accomplished anything as a babyface. Maybe it's time to turn him heel. Turn him heel, boom. He beats Apollo. Like I said, you turn Garza. I would turn Garza face, and then you could have Garza versus. Kevin Owens in that regard too.
Yeah, and also like for example, if you want to like put Kevin Owens in the main event status in the main event scene, it will be better if you go as heel because then you can deal with McIntyre easy. But that's like you said. Hopefully Vince starts to turn the wheel around these situations because maybe Heyman was like kind of like in a different idea or a different mindset than what Vince was thinking. But for now, this is what we get. Apollo retains, like you said, a good match. Almas, of course, looking like a loser, like a position that
just
he's
because
used to now.
I don't like the ending. Like he hit the power bomb and it was like, okay, Andrade really sold it, grabbing his head, like his neck, and Cruz hooked the one leg on the arms because he was holding his head like this, so he hooked his leg here on the one arm and he didn't hook his leg on the other arm, and the ref's like, no, his shoulder's not down, and it's like, dude, just count. Like he pinned him anyway. Yeah, it's not like he kicked out. I thought he was gonna kick out.
There was also like a thing on Jean Paul. There was also a thing that we put in our page. Is that Vince said that like the guys need to respect the referees 100%, and they have to respect their calls because like like how like AEW, remember that they used to like not listen to them, not paying attention, completely ignore what.
Well, I mean, think about it. When we watch old wrestling, you got Earl Hebner and other refs. They get right in people's faces.
Yeah, so
and
that's
say,
why
you don't do
Vince
this.
Was like had a meeting with them saying like, okay, guys, you need to respect the referees.
Then if that's the case, can referees start having names again?
Yeah, I mean,
if we're supposed to respect them, can it be this is referee, Bryce, whoever? Yeah, exactly.
White, yeah, Charles Robinson. No, it's true, but that's what happened, Jean Paul, and I agree with you. But that's, I guess, like that's a little bit of like both sides of the story right there.
Yeah.
So the main show opens, and we have like the triple threat women's tag team championship match: Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, Sasha Banks, and Bayley, and the Iconics. I will say that was a pretty decent match of all these like 6 women, and like Jean Paul said, he was really happy about that. The 3 girls that started the match, so the other 3 were in the outside, they did. So that was good.
And Michael Cole even said at the start, he's like, "Oh, we have special rules here. There's going to be 3, a member from each team. 3 women are going to be in the ring at one time." And I'm like, that shouldn't be special rules. That should just be how the match actually works. Maybe they actually listen to Rope Break and they're like, "Oh man, we better make Jean Paul."
They do.
I hope they do. I mean, we know Carrie and Cross and some other people do.
Hijo del Fantasma or Santos Escobar. Like they listen to us. So thank you guys.
So, but I mean, like you said, it was a good match for all 6 of these women in there. Even Alexa Bliss looked good. The Iconics, they look good for what they can do. They're not going to go in there and, they're not going to be an Io Shirai or a Toni Storm or somebody like that. If that's what you're expecting, you're an idiot. Don't even watch the match.
Yes.
But, going in there and it's like, okay, what can these 6 women do? I think they put on a pretty good match for all the people involved.
They did pretty good. Like, see, Alexa Bliss didn't look like weak. This time, actually, she had a really good showing. Another, like, we always throw news in the middle. Jean Paul gives you, like, the analysis. I give you the news. Alexa Bliss had to, like, shut down her Twitter account. She made it private because there's a lot of situations, like a lot of harassing online and stuff like that. Oh, yeah.
I saw a thing that she was trying to get hacked. Somebody was trying to hack into her.
Yeah, so, like, stop annoying Alexa Bliss. If you don't want to mess with, like, Rope Break. Stop it.
just him.
Oh, well, okay. You don't want to mess with me and Santos Escobar and all the Hispanics? Don't. So, anyway. So, like you said, Jean-Paul, going into the match, good stuff. Of course, Bayley, Sasha, like, if they're in the match, they guarantee the quality to be a lot higher.
Yeah, because they can, I feel are better at like kind of knowing the flow of a match, kind of knowing like what looks good, what they should do, and they can help carry the other women. Nikki Cross, I would say, is like in the middle, where she's like pretty good, but she's not like, amazing, but she's maybe a little bit better than you could say like the Iconics. Yeah, so
that's what pretty much happened. And then at the end, like Alexa and Nikki did like the 3D or like their the tag team move. That is like Nikki lifts it, and then she does the DDT. She was going to go for Twisted Bliss. She ends up doing that. But then Sasha right away gets in, and then she rolls Alexa for the 1, 2, 3. So pretty good stuff, and Jean Paul beats me on this one because he said that like Sasha and Bayley were going to retain. I said Alexa and Nikki, I'm a little crushed, but match quality for NXT, of course you're going to need Bayley and Sasha to go in against Shotzi and also Tegan Knox. So, like, I agreed to that, and it was good, though. Like, 6 with the ball, like, the 3 teams look good. So that's the main thing. That's important, just to make sure that all of them look good. And even the Iconics.
Yeah, and like you and I have been saying for weeks now, that the main feud for the women is going to be Bayley and Sasha, and it's all when do they want to do this. And they're going to start it as soon as they lose the title. So it's like, and you knew they weren't going to start this feud yet. So it's like they're not going to lose the tag titles. So that's how I see it. I feel like they're going to lose it to one of these two teams that was in the match, because these are the only two women's teams on the main roster.
At some point, it's going to happen. Or if you want to pull a completely, you said the Swerve Scott, give it like to Shotzi and Tegan.
Yeah, I mean, I would do it on. I would drop it to some team on NXT, and like I said, make the Dusty Classic for the women. Yeah, that's just me.
Yeah, that would be a great idea. So let's go now, guys, to like Jeff Hardy going against the Celtic Warrior Sheamus. A pretty good match. Like, I couldn't hear the music when he came out. I don't know. Maybe they had the music a little down. And then
I think they were trying to get no more words on, and they were like, "Oh shit, we don't have it because we haven't played it in 100 years."
But yeah, the quality of the match, like Jean Paul was saying, pretty decent. They put on like a lot of things, and I want to say because they had not too many matches on the card, certain matches they said, "Okay, guys, go and try to do the best you can." And this one was one of the matches because this one went around 20 minutes, 25. So pretty good. Like, of course, most of the match, Sheamus was dominated. But then Jeff kind of made the comeback, and then they both look good. So it's a good match. In the end, Sheamus ends up beating Hardy. So Jean Paul.
Yeah, like it was good. The one thing I don't like is this was kind of like if you have a feud and you guys are really, no pun intended, but pissed off at each other, and it's just like, okay, you're not going to start the match with an elbow, collar tie up and be like, whatever. They do that, but then I like Sheamus immediately throws him to the ground, starts rubbing his face in the mat, and it's like, okay, now it's going to be legit. So then they start going at it, and like I said, Sheamus looked dominant, but the whole time it's like, okay, Hardy's going to hit the comeback. He eventually, at the end, he hits the swanton, and you're like, okay, legit. And then I forget if he kicked out or if I think he hit his foot on the ropes.
Yeah, foot on the rope.
Yeah, the foot on the rope, and then you're like, ooh, like,
yeah, and then
you know what I mean, like, ooh.
You knew that it was, you knew that Sheamus was gonna win, and then he hit two brogue kicks, one on the outside and then one on the inside, and then done.
Yep. And so then, I mean, that's what you get for throwing piss in the face of the Celtic Warrior, I guess. For what we saw then as the show go on, I don't know if I would have had Hardy lose here, but I guess like they said, you got to think Jeff Hardy. He's so legit, and obviously we're attached to the baby face in this story, so we wanted him to win. But like they said, they've been promoting Sheamus since January. So Sheamus hasn't done anything. It's like Sheamus is legit too. Yeah. Let him do something. And, I mean, he could be – we didn't see what we thought we were going to see with Braun Strowman. So maybe, you kind of do a quick little feud with him and Sheamus. I don't know. I mean, you got to do something with these guys moving forward, but
we'll see.
It's hard to call it for right now.
Hardy with Sheamus, I think that like Sheamus can easily feud with Braun Strowman because we know the next pay-per-view is going to be July 19, 2020, and that is going to be Extreme Rules. We still don't know if that's going to be in the Performance Center. We don't know yet what's going to be the ruling. We have like a month, like a month in 5 days or something like that for like that pay-per-view. So we'll see what's happening on that regard. But like you said, good match within these guys. I don't know. Like I said, like Jeff and Sheamus, I guess they went with like, okay, both guys need to be kind of presented or pushed kind of like similarly, and that's why they give it to Sheamus, and that's fine.
And I guess because when a babyface loses, it's easier for him to come back the next week and the fans to still be like, no, you're legit. Because if a heel loses, you're going to be like, ha, you lost, you're an asshole.
That's why you're here. Yes. Yeah. So, Jean-Paul, let's go to the Raw Women's Championship match, and that's Asuka against Nia Jax. This one was boring.
This one, I would have honestly started the show with this match. Because this was the worst match besides the Raw Tag Team match. Yes. This was the worst match of the show. Just because, if you watch the channel, which I know y'all do, I love Asuka. That's not a secret. So it's nothing against her. It's just Nia Jax. You can only tell the same story with Nia Jax. I've seen one Nia Jax Asuka match. You've seen them all. Octopus lock, guillotine choke, arm bar. It's all the same thing.
Yeah,
you got to wear her down. You can't do anything different in a match with somebody with the lack of skill set like Nia Jax. So, what do you expect to see? Like I texted you, I'm like, I hope this match is quick. Let's just end it and let's just get it. I'll move on to the next one.
And that's what. And also, like the one thing that I didn't like is like that we didn't get a winner because both of them got it counted out.
Exactly.
So, and there was a lot of octopus arm bars, a lot of submission holds, but towards the end, then both girls were fighting on the outside and then counted out. So, like, of course, you know what they're saying is like now they're going to make for Extreme Rules. What are they going to do, Jean Paul? Triple threat. And
Triple
who are we
threat.
going to be adding to the mix?
Charlotte Flair, probably a big boot on Nia Jax. 1, 2, 3. Charlotte Flair is the new Raw Women's Champion.
They said that like the only reason that they did not give that title to Charlotte from Becky, it was supposed to be because Charlotte already had the NXT Championship. So like they were saying that like they're trying to build Charlotte as the new Becky Lynch. But is that impossible because Charlotte is not, is not I would say like a humble baby face.
So, no, and Charlotte's not charismatic. I mean, sometimes you might get annoyed with Becky Lynch maybe towards the end of her run, right before she dropped the belt to Asuka or gave it to her. But leading up till then, before WrestleMania and like even a little bit afterwards, before they put her in the bullshit feuds, she was the number one thing probably on WWE.
Yes.
And it's like, look how many people were behind her. Charlotte's never had that many people behind her, and she never will.
Yes, and so that's the thing. So like, hopefully, like they don't do that, and they give Asuka the title reign that she deserves, because like, of course, she's been screwed twice on this situation. So hopefully that's what happens. But like you said, the match was absolutely bad. Like never a climax. So this is setting up for Extreme Rules, and hopefully without Charlotte Flair. But that's what we know that's going to happen, because now that she doesn't have the NXT Championship, of course she's going to be inserted right away into the main the Raw Women's Championship feud. And I don't think that is necessary, but of course Vince thinks that like it's extremely necessary. So there you go, Jean-Paul. So now let's go to the match that this one also like wasn't like entertaining for me at all. This was Braun Strowman defending the Universal Championship against Miz and Morrison. And they have they play out their video, the new video.
Yeah, like a new song, and it's like, I mean, it was okay. There was like one or two funny lines in the song, and I'm like, okay, like I could see some people like the younger audience will be like, ha ha ha, laughing their asses off. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that's fine. And then you get Corey Graves, and he keeps singing the song on commentary, and it's like, dude, just please.
No, yeah, exactly. And the difference in this match is like that they added a stipulation that whoever will pin Braun Strowman, that one will become the champion.
And this is the one thing I want to say. Why give us like a stipulation? Why give us all this shit, and then they don't win anyway?
Oh,
like, okay. Even they got a stipulation that like, oh, whoever wins of these two Maurice is going to come out and give them a happy ending right in the middle of the ring. Who cares? If they don't win, what does it matter? Why say anything?
It's true. But they do that all the time. They remember like when AJ Styles fought Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, they kind of added the same situation.
Yeah.
And AJ Styles retained in the end.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah.
They do that all the time. Like they just add something. Why? Because they need to cause like that friction between the two. And that's what ended up happening, because The Miz hit the skull crushing finale, and then kind of Morrison pinned Braun Strowman, but then The Miz stopped it.
Yeah.
And then you see Morrison is like, why? And then you see the friction, and then of course Braun Strowman dominated, and then running power slam and done.
But, yeah, and then it's like, okay, so the guy who is like, no offense to The Miz, but the guy who is the only legit wrestler in this match, John Morrison, is the one who eats the pin. And it's like, okay, that was bullshit. And it's like, oh, but maybe The Fiend will come up. Maybe he'll choke out Braun Strowman. Maybe just Bray Wyatt will be on the ramp. Maybe there'll be something to be like, oh, okay, legit. Nope. He walks off backstage, and
okay. So yeah, that was pretty boring. Like I said, pretty like uneventful. So there you go. That's why we kind of like do an effect on Premiere. Boop, we turn the page. And, that we still have Braun Strowman as the Universal Champion. Whatever. We don't really care for... at least I don't. And I know you don't. So that's why I said, wait. So, Jean-Paul, let's go to, like, actually, like, something that we were all like, really? Is, like, the WWE Championship. And that was, like, Drew McIntyre going against Bobby Lashley. And why is this match, like, in this place in the card?
It's like, you got to think, it's like, oh, okay. It's like, oh, then Edge and Randy Orton's next. Like, oh, no, we have the Raw Tag Team. It's like, well, man, they must have something really legit planned for that Raw Tag Team match if it's going to be, co-main event. And, oh, man, did they have something planned.
Oh, yeah. So, like, this match was pretty good. The McIntyre and Lashley, good feud. Lashley dominated for, like, a good extent of the match. Like, he did a lot of, like
where was
Nelson, Spear.
Where was this Bobby Lashley when he debuted? Like, a year or two ago.
But you said it, You said it a few weeks ago. It's like, because they didn't make him look this way. So now, of course, it's JoJo. It's JoJo's theme. It's JoJo's song. It's Too Little, Too Late.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe it. I mean, yeah, do it. But like a lot of people were saying, make him drop the title to give him the title to Lashley.
Oh yeah, the only way
then go against Lesnar.
Yeah, it would have hurt Drew, but that would have sucked. But it's like if you want to make Lashley, this is how you would have made him. But see, that just shows the thing. It's too little, too late, and he's in the wrong opportunity. If this would have been Seth Rollins as the champ, it would have been perfect. Pull the
Everybody would have loved it. I would have loved it. I would
exactly. But it's like, it's McIntyre. People still love McIntyre. People know that, he actually deserves to be champion.
Yes.
And he carries himself as a champion. He's not on social media like Seth Rollins every week calling out fans and, blocking people left and right, even though the fans are bullshit, won't lie, especially the ones on Twitter. But it's like, you're not going to pull the trigger and give it to Lashley here. But it sucks because it's like, when will he have another chance?
There was only one spot, John Paul, that he threw McIntyre, and I think he was trying to make him hit the turnbuckle, and then I guess he fell or something, and he dropped McIntyre on his face, and that's
he had him up in like the fireman's. He had him up in like a fireman's carry, and like I said, it almost looked like he was kind of doing like the Death Valley Driver.
Yes, he wanted to do the Death Valley Driver.
He threw him, and it's just because McIntyre is such a big fucking dude. He's not like 5'6", 5'8". He's like 6 whatever.
5'3",
And whatever. I wasn't taking those shots, but he flips him, and like you said, McIntyre even tucked his chin, but he almost turtled himself. It was bad.
But other than that, Jean Paul, of course, towards the end, Lana had to show up, and like you said, looking like we're not gonna mention.
I would say a woman of the night.
Yeah, a woman. We're gonna call a woman that only knows how to say yes to everything. So, like the ones that they always leave you with a happy ending. There you go. So, and then she distracted, of course, Bobby Lashley, and that's, of course, opened the door for what? For the Glasgow Kiss, Claimer, 1, 2, 3, McIntyre retains, everybody's happy. Both of us say it is the right time for McIntyre to be the champion. All of the reasons you just mentioned right now.
Yeah, and I was actually nervous in the beginning when he had the Masters lock on him. I'm like, oh shit, because it's like he had it on him in the beginning, really held it on him. I'm like, maybe this thing's gonna. I was thinking that they'd be a squash. You know what I mean? Like he has that on him, and then he gets up, and then spear. And then he does the bomb, and then done.
Thank God that they didn't do that. They know a little better. WWE knows a little better. So we still have.
And like we said, Vince loves Drew, and it's like that's all you need to know. It's like
that's exactly right, because he said even 10 years ago, you're the chosen one. So there you go. So let's go to something that does to me is the worst note ever. It's and this is the reason. For example, John Paul. He knows that I'm not a big fan of Jim Cornette. But when things like this happen, I gotta listen to his wisdom. I gotta understand, and I actually gotta pay tribute to him, and I actually have to give him credit for it. And that is because was a complete disaster of a match. They promised a championship match between the Viking Raiders and the Street Profits, and they actually had a cinematic thing. That wasn't even a match.
Yeah, and it was these two teams, these 4 guys, we all know they're legit. You watch them in NXT. You watch their matches on Monday Night Raw, not as legit, but they could, they still go. They're still good. And then it's like, okay, pay-per-view. They had all the funny, the ha-ha, the bullshit. They got all that out of the way. Now here we go, Backlash, legit match. Let's go. Oh no, they're all brawling outside. What's going on here? And it's like, okay, but come on. It's like, maybe they'll go into the ring. I wouldn't care if they would have fought for 2-3 minutes, fought their way to the ring, and then actually wrestled.
Yeah,
then they started fighting more towards the outside than the inside, and then that's when you knew, here we go.
Yeah, and it wasn't to me. I didn't enjoy anything of it. We had a little bit of a Star Wars references just because of Ivar getting the turkey leg.
Yeah, because they were because I mean a little bit before that, I think they're all just beating the hell out of each other, this and that, spearing each other through the the glass doors and this and that. And it's some spots, it's oh, okay, yeah, it looks cool, but it's, I remember that one spot, and then I think about the segment as a whole, and I'm like, that doesn't matter.
Or they kept having flashbacks of things that happened. Yeah, and all the stuff that they did with the bowling, they did with the sword.
Oh, yeah, that when he took the bowling ball and he hit Montez Ford in the balls, and he was like, oh, duh. Like I said,
then the worst thing, John Paul, is when they actually ran into Akira Tozawa, that somebody that texted me and says Kushida is in there. I'm like, no, girl, is actually is
yeah, like we said, he's legit, but it's not Wednesday. It's closer to Monday than it is to Wednesday, so he's not legit.
Yeah, so and
I
they
love
tried
how
to
when he got off the
recreate Fast
bike,
and the Furious, I think,
yeah,
right?
they weren't even like, oh, it's Akira Tozawa. Like, they should know who he is. They're like, it's ninjas, dog. I'm like, it's Tozawa.
And,
Like, you
and
should
then
know who the hell he is. Maybe you could call the other guy ninjas, but it should be like, oh, it's like Tozawa and ninjas.
and the ninjas, yeah. And then they like, oh guys, like for this one we got to be a team, and they became the biking prophets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they want to smoke, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, they're gonna go at it, and in the end, they don't even go at it. They just went for a little bit, and then they turn.
Yeah,
out
I mean, yeah,
else.
they beat up all the ninjas in some like really bootleg looking Jackie Chan, like Rush Hour fight, and it's like, oh, okay, they're done with them. Then Tozawa's on his knees, and he's like, and then he's got the big ninja,
and
like
then
the
he
6'5"
got like a
ninja.
Shaquille O'Neal,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and yeah, like I said, this whole segment did not make any sense.
And then, but like the Star Wars thing, like you said, he's doing like the force grab with the freaking turkey leg or whatever, and it's like, like at that point I was laughing because I'm like, this is so bullshit.
Yeah, it's so stupid. And then in the end of the segment, they end up falling into what it was like a big dumpster, right? I would say a dumpster.
Yeah, and there was one more Star Wars reference in that, like when they're in the trash compactor on the Death Star and it goes to crush, there's like a tentacle alien monster that lives in the trash, and he tries to he wraps up Luke and sucks him under. They had that. Do you remember? You saw that tentacle?
Yes.
That was coming. Yeah. So it was a bunch of Star Wars references. Hey, maybe that's a foreshadowing that Disney, who now owns Star Wars, is going to buy WWE.
Maybe that's a shot right there. But they had the thing.
I mean, they can't be worse writing than Vince McMahon. But like you said,
the thing with the referee, Jean Paul. Like she goes like, "Oh, what are you guys doing here? Your match is next." And Ivar, you're cute, and Eric, you're not that cute. And then
and I'm like, oh, what the hell, It's like, when I looked like Ivar, nobody said that. Now I look like Eric, and it all makes sense.
Yeah, well, there you go. So that's what happened. So that we're not even gonna say like that. That was absolutely the worst part of the show. For a lot of people, you will see tomorrow, and even right now, you will see that like everybody's hating on that. So now let's go to the meat and potatoes. Like Jean Paul, he created that phrase. The main event, it was like the greatest match ever. Edge against Randy Orton. Did they deliver? Hell yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. And there was a report came out right before Backlash went on air that like Edge actually injured during the match. He was like the triceps. He tore one of the triceps. So that's what happened. But in the end, Jean Paul, what a great match.
Oh my God, you can't
gave us something that we will remember forever.
Yeah, and like we're so used to the way WWE produces stuff now, we're watching this and it's like, oh, this will be over by 9:30. Easy. No way. 9:30 was probably like the halfway point of this match.
Yeah.
We're watching it and it's long and it was just produced really well. It told the story. It was just, we got what is the opposite of pro wrestling, the match before, and then we got like legit, wrestling match between these two. Yes. Was it the greatest wrestling match? Everybody's going to say that. Was it the greatest? Like I said in the beginning, it might not have been your favorite, but saying favorite versus greatest is, that's two different things.
Different criteria.
I would make the argument that this is Edge's greatest wrestling match.
It was, and you got to consider two things. You got to consider the thing that like they were able to watch up whatever happened at WrestleMania with the Last Man Standing. That's one thing. Another thing. They're not at their peak of their careers, but yet they were able to give us a great match, and they use a lot of elements that I appreciate. For example, Jean Paul, blood. Randy Orton got busted open. Edge, he did the Three Amigos. Tribute to Eddie Guerrero. Randy Orton does the pedigree. Tribute to Triple H. And then of course like two spears from Edge, Executioner, all of those things, and then Randy Orton
kicks out of the RKO,
DDT. The DDT from the ropes like he always does. That's the vintage Randy Orton. He did the Olympic Slam. He does two RKOs. Edge kicks out of all of them, and they did the same spot that like Christian always lost the matches with, and that was when Christian will go into the ropes and then he'll dive and then he'll set up for the RKO. So like all of that, and even Edge hit the I'm Prettier to tribute to Christian. So like you see, like they put a lot of thought into this. And they did deliver something really great to the point that Jean Paul texts me. He's like, I don't know who's going to win. I don't know.
Yeah, it was tough to say because it was an emotional thing where you're like, Edge can't. It almost makes you think. You go into the thing where you're watching it and you're like, you forget that this is just like two guys going out there and they're calling the match. You almost think it's like real for a second. You're like, shit, I don't know who's gonna like can Edge really put him away? And then you're like, oh yeah, they already know who's gonna win. But it's like for a moment you almost forget.
And
that's
also,
how you. And that's how you know it's a
remember
good
the
match.
counters. The counters were really great. That
Oh
counter
yeah.
that Orton kind of like jump over Edge, and then he was going to do the RKO, but actually Edge reverses it, and he did like the the vintage Edge that like he will do that dive, and then he will go for the pin. So all of these situations came so flawlessly done. So you just gotta say thank you to these guys for like what they did.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. There's no way that you can watch this match and be like, "Oh, this sucked. WWE, they can't deliver." There's no way. I don't think there's gonna be a single person on the internet that isn't being a troll or a jackass who's gonna say that this match was bad.
It was like pretty similar to those matches that like New Japan delivers when you use a lot of your finishers. It's like go for like 25 minutes, but like in the end,
that's the only thing I did see, and I know like we started this right away, but of course people tweeting and stuff immediately, they were like, "Oh, why did everybody kick out of so many finishers?" And it's like you said, that's what New Japan does. That's what AEW kind of does.
And
it's like
that's just necessary. Sometimes
that's just
necessary.
what. Yeah.
Like for example, like think about the best matches that people will remember. It's matches when like they did this sequence so many times.
Well, yeah, look at the people say, you can compare it to what I would say is probably one of the greatest wrestling matches, the Shawn Michaels and Undertaker.
Yeah.
How many times did Michaels kick out of a tombstone?
Yeah, he did twice, and also how many times he kicked out of the Switch and Music.
Exactly. That's like what I mean. In matches like that, because you might be like, oh, this is just Backlash, who cares? To me, this was the WrestleMania match.
For them, and that's how they took it. I think that's what they thought, that's what they understood it was, and that's why they gave us this. Randy Orton still proves that, like, at his age, he can still deliver wonderful, magnificent things. And Edge, even more respect to him. How good of a match you were able to put with 9 years of not being in the ring.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, like, when I watched Edge matches before, he was never like a Bret Hart, Mr. Perfect, kind of like that guy. He was always more like, used a little bit of toys, this and that, like legit stuff. But this, I still think this is probably his best match.
It was pretty damn great. It was pretty damn great. Like, it's something that I will remember from Edge. And at the end, of course, Randy Orton picks up the win. He did the knee. He did the knee to the face.
Yeah, he had like the punt. He like kicked him right in the head, and it was like when he kicked him, I was like, "Is that gonna do it?" Like I know that's like the old school because, like you said, they were pretty much pulling out every trick in the book they had because they had to.
And that was cool, though.
He hits the punt, and it's like, but I mean, it made sense because like a guy who was like a legit, maybe a guy in his 20s or 30s, big strong neck, he hits the punt, I'll kick out. But Edge, the weak neck, he's older, he hits the punt, you're like, ooh, that's it.
And also, if you think about it, like in story and also like damage to the body, he already kicked out of 2 RKOs.
Exactly.
So it's kind of in the game. If you hit like a move that is not so devastating, it can be devastating just because like he already kicked out of like a lot of things that were devastating.
Exactly.
So in the end, Randy Orton gets the win. They do the 50-50 booking because Jean Paul already said, hey, McIntyre doesn't have an opponent. So there you go. Stream Rules is, the next pay-per-view, is the next stop in the WWE calendar. So why not have Randy Orton challenge Drew McIntyre? There you go. And with Edge, let him go recover from the bicep and everything. So like once he comes back, then maybe he can challenge a Seth Rollins. He can challenge like another heel. He can challenge maybe.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I would want to see Randy Orton be WWE champion. But, like, I mean, if you're just building the whole thing for Edge, the best story, then it would be Randy Orton wins, and then Edge has a match maybe at SummerSlam against Randy Orton, if Randy Orton's the champion. But then you're just playing hot potato. Oh, you go to Randy Orton, then it goes to Edge. It's like, how long is Edge going to be your champion?
Sometimes it's okay to, like, do that. Like, people, like, they say, oh, yeah, I don't want potato, but it's like sometimes it's necessary. In wrestling,
and also, if that's what you do, the story, it makes sense. And also, do we want to see Randy Orton with a long title reign? No, he's had 13 of them so far, or 14, whatever it is. It's like we don't need to see another one.
No, so but if he's going to be the stepping stone for Edge, that's fine because if Edge will be the champion, hey, look, easy. Seth Rollins could be next. A returning Roman once he comes back because people ask me what's going on with Roman. He's going to come back. He already said when the quarantine's over, when everything's green, I'll come back. They say also is around Paul Sami Zayn might be coming back to SmackDown soon. Because remember what Jeff Hardy keeps saying. Oh, a guy with like red hair and red beard. You know, and there's like they're gonna make it into the story that it's not Sheamus, it's actually Sami Zayn.
That would be legit.
Yeah,
but then Hardy's gonna get his win over Sami, and then Sami will be like, so.
And then Sami's done. But like, see, like aside of all of that, Jean Paul, what a great match they gave us. And see, that's for me professional wrestling. That's what it is, right there. WWE proves that when they want to do that, they can. They always.
Now I want to ask you. I want to ask you this question then, quick. What I know this is fresh in our head, but which match do you think did you like more, Styles and Bryan or Edge and Orton?
Edge and Orton.
Yeah, I would go with Edge and Orton. I mean, I like AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan more. They rank higher on my favorites list. But this match, I mean, the story was there. It was the length that this match was so long compared to that other one that it felt like really real, and it felt like it did feel like one of the greatest wrestling matches you were ever seeing, at least in probably the last 5-10 years that we've seen from WWE.
I'll just tell you my thought on that. It's like AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan are absolutely phenomenal. Both of them, not only AJ, but like see the rivalry wasn't there.
Exactly.
Like there's not hatred. There's not like all the added elements that they needed to like have for me to kind of care a little more, because it's like man, they're fighting for the title, whatever.
Yeah,
but this one had everything.
And with me saying that and you and I both agreeing, I feel like you could have taken the tag team championship match for Raw, got rid of that, even got rid of or did something with these other matches, made them a little shorter, and you could have put AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan on this show.
Yeah, you could.
Because if you would have did that, then Backlash goes from being, it was kind of bullshit, but that main event was awesome. You would have put this IC title match on. It would have been, Backlash was a pretty good show.
It would have been pretty more remarkable, but WWE, of course, like they feel even within themselves, oh yeah, these guys cannot overshadow these guys. So like they don't try to promote competition from within, and that's what they should do, because when you have that, then the results of match quality, rivalry quality, promo quality, everything will go up. But see, Jean Paul, this sums it up for this review. I hope all of you enjoyed it. It was a great end of the pay-per-view. That match still fresh in our heads, like Jean Paul would say. I'm gonna go to sleep with a smile on my face, because it's been a long time that I actually see in the main event a really great professional wrestling match.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too. I like the pay-per-view. I will say I like the pay-per-view. Some of the matches were complete awful, bullshit garbage. The main event was fantastic, but when a pay-per-view leaves me that I'm thinking, well, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen with Jeff Hardy? What's going to happen maybe with Lashley, with McIntyre, with any of these guys? Edge, Orton, what's going to happen? I'm curious. It's going to make me want to tune in tomorrow to Monday Night Raw, and if that's what they do, then it's a mission accomplished.
It's a mission accomplished right there. So, Jean-Paul, where they can find us on social media world?
Well, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, The Original Rope Break, Twitter, The OG Rope Break, YouTube, the Original Rope Break as well, and then now newly on Podbean you can find us, The Original Rope Break.
That's right. So sign up, subscribe, and all of them are free. Give us support us. I hope that all of you are enjoying these videos, all of the knowledge that we're providing for every single one of you. So Jean Paul and me, we only have one more thing that is left to say, but before that, we will be with you guys for something special tomorrow in the afternoon, and also we will be right there for you guys after Monday Night Raw with everything, the fallout of WWE Backlash. So Jean Paul, you and me, let's charge it, and we'll see you soon, family. Take care.